Our busy day of NHL news continues with a couple of significant moves involving the San Jose Sharks. They've completed a trade with the Dallas Stars, and they've made a significant waiver wire claim. We'll discuss the deal coming up next. So welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. As I mentioned, we have lots to talk about here today. A couple of big moves involving the San Jose Sharks. Of course, we know they want to be more competitive next year, so they want to insulate their youth coming in with some solid veterans and be more competitive. I think they know that it's not going to be a playoff year or anything like that, but certainly want to be better, and they've done so by making a couple of moves here today. The first up, they've completed a trade with the Dallas Stars. They've acquired soon-to-be 24-year-old Ty Dellandrea. Ty Dellandrea was a first-round pick, 13th overall in 2019. Has not really amounted to much of an offensive player so far in the NHL. He has got 150 games of NHL experience, which is pretty good, but mostly in a checking bottom six type of role. Even throughout the Stanley Cup playoffs, he was not a consistent member of their lineup, as often healthy scratch. So, it was pretty clear that they were not viewing him as one of their top 12 forwards. Of course, they're expecting Joe Pavelski to retire most likely, so I thought maybe that'll open the door for him getting a bigger role next year. But they're also in win-now mode in Dallas, and if they don't think Dellandrea can play a meaningful enough role, it makes sense to kind of move on here. Getting in return from San Jose, they get a fourth-round pick in 2025. I know Dallas was super high on this guy when they drafted him in 2019. To me, he was drafted a bit too high. If you look at that draft class, below him, the next pick was Joel Farabee. Certainly worked out to be a better pick in Philadelphia than Dellandrea has. A lot more productive, at least. There was a few players that went a little bit later into that first round, Keandre Miller, Alex Romanov, but overall, there's not a lot of the second half of that first round that have really amounted to a whole lot as of yet. So certainly, I know they saw him as being a really good leader, a lot of intangibles, potential future captain is the type of things that we heard from the Stars organization when they drafted Dellandrea, and it just hasn't come together for him. So, like I said, soon to be 24 years of age, 5 years after being, drafted and playing in the NHL, it's time for probably a change of scenery. So obviously San Jose will likely be able to give him a better role, and maybe if he gets more of a full-time scoring type of role, then perhaps he'll flourish more. We'll have to wait and see, but certainly going to be interesting to see how all that plays out. Like I said, he was somebody drafted with a lot of potential, and I personally thought at best he would be a middle six, probably a third-line player, which is probably where his ceiling is, but we'll see. Like I said, in a different team, different role with some different line mates, then just perhaps things will be different. The San Jose Sharks today also claimed a veteran forward Barclay Goodrow, who was placed on waivers yesterday by the New York Rangers. Now, of course, we know the Rangers were really looking to move on from Barclay Goodrow's cap hit. As much as they like and appreciate the play he brings in the playoffs, the last couple of regular seasons have been very non-productive for him, and it really hampers what they're able to do with that team, given the fact that Chris Drury gave him a 6-year contract at $3.64 million, and he's only halfway through it. So, it was a massive overpay to bring him to New York from Tampa with that contract. I was shocked. As much as I like Barclay Goodrow, and he can be and has been a very productive bottom six forward at times of his career, had a really solid run, was a huge part of that Tampa winning their championships there, became a casualty again as they had to cut corners to keep the more offensive guys together, and he gets a sweetheart deal to go to the Rangers, and he's, like I said, in the playoffs he's been good, but I'm not sure why Barclay Goodrow regular season version can't be the same. So it's underwhelming. Now, he started his career in San Jose. He's one of those guys that's always been defying the odds and never really was supposed to be, like a top player or anything, and had to work his butt off to be where he is. So he's a hardworking veteran guy, knows the Sharks organization well. There was some speculation yesterday when he was placed on waivers that there might be a little bit of a, handshake deal, so to speak, that put him on waivers and the Sharks will pick him up. I don't know why they couldn't have just made a trade for future considerations. It's the same idea. I guess it gives other teams opportunity for a free player as well, just to kind of make sure it goes down. But like I said, a trade's pretty much a done deal too. So not sure why they didn't do it that way, but you know, at the end of the day, he becomes a member of the Sharks where he used to play. But there was some talk that he might not be crazy about going to San Jose. Clearly, you know, even though he's familiar with the area, been there before, I'm sure he likes the organization, but he may not be thrilled about being in a rebuild, I guess. I guess that's possible. After being in Tampa, then New York, the last, you know, I guess what it's been 4 or 5 years or whatever it's been since he left San Jose. You know, he's been in very competitive, long playoff runs, Stanley Cups. It's tough to go from that down to a rebuild, but, you know, at the same time, we'll see what happens. But they want to add some good pros, be more competitive in San Jose. This isn't going to push the needle super far, but it'll certainly, like I said, give them a good role player, somebody who can be a good pro, good veteran, can be a great influence around the young kids in Goodrow, Dellandrea, you know, that 24-year-old, decent amount of games experience type of guy who can, you know, probably be a hardworking, you know, middle six kind of guy for them too. And it might be a better opportunity for him to kind of flourish in maybe a better role. So we'll see. But the Sharks get themselves a couple of hardworking veterans at the very least. Will help their competitiveness. And these teams both get salary cap flexibility and move on from a roster spot here. So let me know your thoughts on these moves. Of course, we already saw a big trade today involving Jacob Markstrom going from Calgary to New Jersey. That video is already posted to the channel a couple hours back. So if you haven't had a chance to check that out, please already do so. Then we have this news. And like I said, there's bound to be more. There's lots of other stuff to talk about. I'll be back with at least one more video today recapping all the other news around the entire NHL, but there could be more. Stay tuned. We'll keep you up to date with all things around the entire league. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.